this. Hello friends, how are you? My name is Corbin Reed and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I am bringing you a hallway / laundry nook makeover. In my townhome, we have an area in our hallway, our second floor hallway that has both of the guest bedroom and the master bedroom on it. There's an area with a lot of storage where we keep our linens and towels and things, and this space has gone through quite the evolution. It started out as a completely blank slate. Last year I did add picture frame molding and a sort of like contrasting blue lime wash, which is gone now. You would have seen it if you saw my hallway makeover holiday edition video, which I will link above here if you want to go back and check out the full trajectory of this project. But now the hallway is still got the picture frame molding that I added and the chair rail. But in this video, I add a fluted wood backsplash to the laundry nook area, replace the countertop from laminate to a quartz that mimics Viola Calcutta marble, and I reface my builder grade laminate cabinets that came with the home to shaker style cabinets. I paint them and I change out the hardware to a brass hardware to make everything look much more built in and more character and just more wabi-sabi, modern, organic, which is the style that my home has evolved into. To make this hallway no longer just feel like a pass through, but like a moment in my home, I wanted to make sure that it reflected, you know, from the entryway to this hallway, that everything is cohesive and speaks to each other. You're gonna see me take it from beginning to now. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So this is where the stairs started. They were carpeted and I had them changed into this stone wood floor composite that I have all over my house. This wall was completely just plain drywall. I put some decor in front of it to sort of band-aid how characterless it was. And then as you can see on the other side of the hallway, I just really overdid it with decor. Like, it was just so confused. But this is when we first moved in. I didn't know exactly what I wanted my style to be or what I wanted things to look like, but I soon figured out that adding architectural elements and new materials is the way to go. So first things first, I brought this armoire, this antique armoire. It's from the 1800s actually, back from Hudson, New York. It is a mahogany armoire and it's so beautiful, and the best part is it's beautiful but it's also functional, and it is on brass casters so it's easy to move. I added that alabaster light fixture that I also put in my entryway, and then I also had my electrician add in these hardwired movable arm sconces. I will link all of those down below. The lighting is really beautiful. So the next step in this process was to add picture frame molding to the walls, which I did back in holiday time of last year. I originally had painted everything with a blue, sort of deep navy blue lime wash. I eventually did not like the contrast, so this does change, which you will see in part 2 of this video, so be sure to come back next week. And just so you have a lay of the land, in this hallway next to the laundry nook is my actual laundry. So my washer and dryer are here in the closet, and that's why I am addressing the situation, because we use it to store laundry accessories and to fold. Once I addressed the walls, I was still irritated by the laminate for cabinets and the laminate countertops. I just felt they looked cheap. I did try to band-aid it by putting a peel and stick wallpaper on the backsplash, but it still wasn't enough texture. So I decided that the countertops had to change, and of course I'm doing everything on a budget. So I went onto Facebook Marketplace and I found these quartz countertops which mimic Viola Calcutta marble for $100. I was able to bargain them down from $225. Good morning. So I just wanted to quickly go over what my plan is for this space. So my main issue, of course, is just like with any other cabinet in this house, is that they're laminate. The cabinets are like a laminate veneer on the front, and then they're like a heavy plywood, which is actually a good base. I've made over my cabinets multiple times. If you want an in-depth tutorial on how to do that, please go back and rewatch my office bathroom makeover. I show you like more in depth how to do this process there. I am not going to show you here in depth how I do it. Just you'll have to go back and watch that if you want the tutorial. And I also did the same thing to my kitchen cabinets. I refaced them with poplar wood, I think it's like a 1 1/4 inch wide poplar wood, so that they turn into shaker style cabinets. So I'm going to do that here. The other issue I have is this laminate countertop. It's gotta go. So I found a quartz countertop that looks like a Viola Calcutta marble on Facebook Marketplace, so I will be using that. It was almost exactly the right size. I just have to cut about 4 inches off the side. It's bullnosed on the front and bullnosed on the side, so I just have to cut 4 inches off on the side. I did buy a new saw. I have 3 saws. So it's a wet saw. I'm actually very excited. It's a manual wet saw. I have a tile wet saw, like a table saw wet saw for cutting tile, which I use to do my DIY fireplace. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. This is a manual wet saw, so it's like a circular saw that spews water onto a diamond blade to cut it. So that's my plan. Refacing these cabinets, painting them. I'm gonna paint them, I believe Chantilly Lace is the name of the color, by Benjamin Moore, and then replacing this countertop. I will replace the hardware, and then the part 3 here is going to be, I believe I did put this wallpaper on, and I do like it. I did this as a part of like fall DIYs in one of my videos for fall DIYs. However, I kind of want this little nook to feel like a piece of furniture. And so I think I'm going to do a fluted, I'm going to use fluted wood casing. And I think I'm going to just wrap it around, basically starting from here as like a backsplash, wrap it around to the other side, and then I think I'm gonna paint it the same color as the cabinets so that the whole thing just feels built in. These things always take longer than I anticipate. I'm gonna start today and work my way around. Also, this area gets seen by everyone, so every time I walk past it, I'm like, ugh, I can't stand it. So I feel like this is the last area in my home that I'm using decor to kind of like band-aid the fact that I don't like the way this looks. And so it's just time to address it. But paint goes a long way, and changing materials goes a really long way. You know, upgrading it to a stone-like surface, upgrading hardware and paint. These are things you can do that are very affordable. You know, they take a little elbow grease, but they go a really long way to making things just feel beautiful and high-end. So let's do it. So I'm starting off here by removing everything out of the area. And I am removing the hardware from the cabinets so that I can then take the cabinets off and bring them downstairs into my garage and start the process of refacing them. Again, this is a process that I go in depth in my office bathroom makeover video, but essentially this is the Cliff Notes version. I have 1 1/4 inch plywood pieces that I cut to size. I use liquid nails to attach them at first for the vertical pieces. And then I use brad nails, about a 3/4 inch, to nail them onto these laminate front plywood surfaces. After the vertical pieces are attached, I attach the horizontal pieces, just measuring them out, which is easier to do when the vertical pieces are sort of brad nailed on so they're not slipping around. And I do a custom measurement for each cabinet just to have a tight fit. Then I add the liquid nails again, and I brad nail the horizontal pieces in again. Once those are done, I would fill all of the holes and let that dry, and all of the seams so that it just looks like a smooth surface. And then once it's dry, I sand it down. And then after that, I go in with Zinsser Bin Primer. This one I believe is water-based, but the shellac base requires no sanding. Just a pro tip there. And I do 1 coat on all of the top, the insides. I cut in with a brush, an angled brush, and then I go in with a sponge roller, which gives me the sort of flattish, smoothest finish. And then after all of the cabinets are removed, I have to go and do the exact same process on the built-in, which is just prime all of the surfaces that will be exposed when the cabinets are open. I did also paint the baseboard here with the primer because I painted the baseboard the same color as the cabinets. And then after everything is primed, I went in with my paint, which is that Chantilly Lace by Benjamin Moore, and did the same process, cutting in and then rolling. And then between coats, you have to let everything dry for, I believe it's 12 hours to cure. And then you can do the second coat. And I did paint both the front, the sides, and the backs of the cabinets. And then, of course, the final step in the process is to add the cabinets back on. And voila, it's all done. Hello, good morning. It is a new day, same Michigan sweater. The cabinets are up. It's a subtle shift right now, especially because I have not added the hardware, but I personally think that it makes a massive difference in appearance just to not have that laminate front, to have the paint, to have the shaker style. It just looks really good to me. So the next thing I'm going to do, replace this laminate countertop. Now, I have never replaced a laminate countertop before. Like many things, this is gonna be my first time. I've seen videos, it looks relatively easy. It sounds like what you do is you basically either, I did see the 4 screws or 8 screws where it's screwed in to the base of this frame, and then you just cut along the lines with caulk, and then if you have to use like a pry bar to take it off, do that. And then in the garage, I have a really beautiful piece of quartz that mimics Calcutta Viola marble and has some really beautiful like veining on it. And quartz really looks a lot like stone and feels like stone when you touch it, which I like. I'm gonna start by take the screws out. So I just am removing all of the bins that I have underneath this cabinet. These are IKEA bins that are actually super useful in like organizing our like toilet paper, paper towels, and linens that we have in there so they're not all bunched up in there. But as you can see, the screws are basically screwed in to the laminate countertop, which is basically just plywood covered in laminate. And this is also plywood, so they come out relatively easy. If you don't have a little screwdriver like that, electronic screwdriver, you could just use a regular screwdriver probably. And then I am just cutting along the caulk seam with my box cutter. I did have to go over the seam multiple times. It was on there pretty thick. So I probably did about 5 passes per line, and then I started, as you can see, really digging in there. Okay, before I act like I just got this off just easy, I want to just tell you really quick. After I use this to cut around the caulking, I use my hammer to sort of, I went like this, to sort of loosen it, and then I use this to tap in around it, like pry a little bit, and then I literally had to get on the floor and push up with my feet because lifting it, I'm not strong enough, but it's off now. It is messing up the wallpaper, but I'm okay with that because this wallpaper is actually gonna come off anyway because I'm doing a fluted wood detail. So it's all right, I'm not worried about it coming up. I'm more concerned with the countertop coming off. And there it goes. It's off. That actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So yeah, YouTube for the win. Let's see if I can. An oscillating tool here because I had trouble getting the countertop out of the Laundry Nook area. It's smoking a bit, which is crazy. I did come in with my handsaw and just literally just like saw it down the middle because it's so thick. And yeah, I was able to get it out. Okay, so update here. I'm out in my garage. This is the countertop. And I'm really hoping this blade works. I'm a little worried that it's gonna be too small, but it said it could cut up to 1 inch, and this is only 3/4 of an inch thick, so hopefully it should be fine. I'm using a DeWalt 4 3/8 inch wet dry saw that I got off of Amazon. I will link it below. I've measured the empty countertop upstairs. I measured the front, the middle, and the back. And so I know that the widest I can go is 59.5. I have never used this saw before. I just put it together, read the instructions and stuff. And so now I'm just gonna make the marks of where this needs to go. And again, here. And I'm gonna make a line with some frog tape to show myself that that's where I need to cut. And I'm also going to draw a line just in case, I don't know, the frog tape comes off or something. That'll be that. Take one more measurement right here, 59.5, just measuring in all 3 places just to be sure, because you never know, especially when you're marking, it can just get crooked. I don't love drawing on this, but you can see here I have my straight edge clamped to the table. When I put it here, I'm seeing that it's lined up. So yeah, so we're just gonna see how this works. I have the hose hooked up here. I'm gonna turn the water on, and this stuff sprays at the blade and makes it easier to cut through stone. I'm gonna turn the water on. Oh, there it is, okay. Water's coming out. You can kind of see it trickling there. Okay. Clean off. My theory was correct. The quartz dropped off. So basically what happened is it had a bull-nosed edge on the side, and it's bull-nosed on the front, which is great, but I didn't need the side piece. And you see how it's like thicker here and thinner here? I just needed to cut a little bit off, so hopefully it'll fit into the laundry area, and I think it'll be just fine, honestly. This saw works great. I mean, it's a pretty straight, clean cut. This is quartz. I would imagine it would work really well for marble or granite or anything else, so. Last step in this process was just to remove my straight edge and my clamps, and then remove the frog tape and wait for my husband to get home to help me carry it up the stairs. Okay, good morning. So I'm back in the garage. I have this backsplash that I'm going to put on the counter, which looks absolutely beautiful. I could not find for the life of me any pull wrap. I think all the DIYers sold it out. So I'm using this, and it's actually really beautiful. And I'm literally just going to cut. I have 8 pieces here. I need to make 30 cuts. So I just made one the length that it needs to be, and I'm going through and just taking a pencil, making a tick mark where I need to cut it, and then all I'm gonna do is go upstairs and use my brad nailer to just like shoot it across the wall until I have a nice fluted wood backsplash. So I think it's gonna add a really nice texture and make it look like furniture. So just reiterating here, all I did was add these cuts and sort of line them up just to make sure they fit. You know, of course they're off by 1 millimeter here, 1 millimeter there, but for the most part, they fit perfectly. I was able to line them up, and I didn't even have to take the wallpaper off. I just did it over the wallpaper, and I didn't use any liquid nails or anything, just in case I ever wanted to change this. It would just make it a lot easier. And then I went ahead and shot the nails into it. So So everything has been caulked, wood filled. I still have to sand the wood filler. I was gonna leave it, just the wood. I think it's just too confusing to the eye. I think there's too many elements. This is my hardware. So these are gonna be on the cabinets, which I'm really excited about. I think it's gonna be really beautiful. I just want it to be more simple. Every time I do a design, when it's simple, it's best. I started with the whitewash, and I'm actually really liking the way this is looking because I'm still getting wood tone, which is so cool. I'm gonna keep going. I'm wearing this because it's a lot of fumes. So as I just mentioned, I did end up not opting for paint and going with a whitewash gel stain by Mini Wax, which works beautifully. I've used it in my entryway on the Fluted detail that I did. You can go and check that out. I will link it above. But what ends up happening is you still get the wood tone that shines through, and it takes the orangeness out of the wood. So after that was done, I let it dry for overnight, and then I came in with this brass hardware that is absolutely beautiful from Etsy. I will also leave that link down below. I've used it all over my home. I made an executive decision. The wallpaper is coming off. This is how everything is looking. Sneak peek there. And I don't need it, so it's coming off. And I'm just gonna paint it the same color as the cabinets. Goodbye, wallpaper. And this is the finished product of the Laundry Nook, y'all. I think it turned out so beautiful. The materials are so elevated. I love the combination of the wood with the quartz and the brass and the shaker style cabinets. I think it's truly timeless, and it's gonna be so beautiful to walk past that every day. And I won't feel embarrassed anymore when guests walk past. I also want to mention that those under cabinet lights are great. They're from IKEA. I have them on a dimmer. I will link those down below if you are looking for some under cabinet lights. It's essential in this hallway for me to have everything on a dimmer because there are no windows, and I love to control mood lighting. Be sure to join me next week for part 2 of this makeover, where I style everything and reveal to you the complete transformation of this hallway. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. If you like this video, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you do not miss any of my upcoming videos. Next week will be part 2, where I do the fun stuff, style, and reveal to you the space and walk you through all of my decisions for the entire hallway. It is a big space. And of course, all of the yummy items you see will be linked in the description box. I'm gonna really make an effort to link some really good vintage lookalikes that you guys can find online to shop. So that will be fun, so be sure to come back for that. And then of course, if you're not following me on Instagram, please be sure to follow me over at storydesign_ with Corbin Reed, and on TikTok at storydesign. Let me know your favorite part down below in the comments. I love hearing from you guys, and it also helps my channel to hear from you. So please let me know your favorite part, if there's anything that you're inspired by in this video that you're gonna give a try in your own home, and I'll see you in the next one.